There comes those rare and disturbing moments when sports and politics cross paths. Such was the case for Israel, Sweden, and tennis in the early months of 2009. Long-standing tensions between the Muslim community and Israel, exacerbated by the Israeli army's occupation of the Gaza Strip, ultimately ignited protests around the world and impacted professional tennis in a big way. In February 2009, the United Arab Emirates, which has a large Muslim population, was the setting for two major tennis tournaments, both men's and women's Dubai Tennis Championships. On the eve of the women's event, citing the fear of violent protests, the UAE declined to issue a visa to Israeli tennis player Shahar Peer.
I didn't get the visa to get into Dubai, and it was a big thing around the world, which I got a lot of support through emails, through phone calls, and especially here in America, they really supported me.
This year was a little bit difficult because one of our players didn't get to play. So we have to remember Shahar Peer and see her next year. Thank you all.
The barring of Peer from competing in the tournament triggered shockwaves. Ken Solomon, CEO of Tennis Channel, reacted quickly to the news and announced the network's cancellation of the event's scheduled broadcast.
If she's kept out, then we're out too. We won't sanction discrimination, and we won't televise the event. I did what I knew was right.
Soon thereafter, Andy Roddick withdrew from the Men's Dubai Tennis Championships, and ultimately the WTA fined the event $300,000 and threatened to withdraw its sanction. The UAE eventually wavered under the bad publicity, and the following week granted Israel's Andy Ram entry into the Men's Dubai tournament. The gesture provided momentary relief of Middle East politics and the impact on the sport of tennis. However, the residue of what had happened to Peer lingered. Israel's Davis Cup team was scheduled to compete in Malmö, Sweden in early March of 2009. Weeks prior to the time, Malmö had been racked by protests resulting from the city's decision to close an Islamic cultural center. Additionally, in the month leading up to the time, a pro-Israel demonstration had been disrupted by pro-Palestinian protesters. The leaders of Malmö, citing their fear of further anti-Israel protests by its local Muslim community, voted 5-4 in favor of closing the 4,000-seat Baltic Arena to spectators. It was a decision that angered the International Tennis Federation, the governing body of Davis Cup.
The security plan already submitted by the Malmö police and the efforts of the two tennis associations would be enough to allow the tie to take place under normal circumstances. Therefore, we do not agree with the decision by the Malmö authorities to exclude the public.
It was this simple and disturbing, a high-stakes competition between two nations that, much to the chagrin of the players and coaches, would only be witnessed by several hundred media and officials.
Sweden's actions are way more degrading than Dubai's. Dubai is an Arab state that we don't have any ties to. That they, right after a war, find it hard to accept an Israeli, I can understand. But with Sweden, we have normal ties.
Yeah, very strange decision, but that's the decision that Sweden took, and it's very unfortunate. But we're here to play tennis and do the best.
Nej, det har jag inte. Det är ju tråkigt att det är på det här sättet, givetvis.
It's sad, but the people who decided that we should play without an audience are experts in their field, one has to suppose. And we are experts in our field, so that's a question for them.
It was downright tragic to see how politics had intruded on sports. The spirit of fair play and merit eroded by beguiling decisions. Naturally, no one dared imagine what would occur. One of the most exciting sports events ever staged that was seen by one of the smallest audiences in history.